Hi, my name is Tori, and in this video we're going to work through an activity on probability and probability distributions. We are going to discuss some objects that are subject to random outcomes, define outcomes and potential events from the sample space of these random processes, and build and explore probability distributions for a random variable. Feel free to pause the video at any time to think about the questions that are being asked of you. There are several items around your home that can be used to show a random process. Today, we are going to look at a few of the items that you may have. For example, in front of me, I have a spinner. I have some dice, a few coins, and a cup. Take a minute to think about a repeatable action that could be done with each of these items that would produce an unpredictable result. Also, think about any potential outcomes from the trial. For the coin, you probably said something like flip the coin or spin the coin with two potential outcomes of getting either heads or getting tails. For the dice, you may have said to roll the die with observable outcomes being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. With the spinner, you can spin the arrow and record the color that comes up. Did you think about flipping the spinner and seeing if it comes up flipper side down? The cup is a little bit different than the others. This isn't an object we normally associate with a random outcome. But what if we were to put the cup on the edge of a countertop and try to flip it? Potential outcomes that could happen were that the cup lands on its side, the cup lands face up, or the cup lands face down. Note that with the first three objects, we can assign theoretical probabilities to each of the outcomes that you listed. Or, if you were to collect data, we could create an empirical probability distribution. With the cup, we don't have a theoretical probability readily available to us, so we have to rely solely on empirical probabilities. To remind you of some other probability vocabulary, let's focus on the spinner for a minute. Remembering that an event is a collection of one or more outcomes, we could define the following events. I could spin 3 times and record getting the same color twice. I could spin 2 times and see if I get the same color both times. I could spin 3 times and see if I get blue at least once, or perhaps I could spin it and see if I get either yellow or red. Can you think of some other events we could define for the spinner? Now we will focus on flipping a coin. If I were to flip a coin twice, some observable outcomes from this would be getting 0 tails, getting exactly 1 tail, or getting exactly 2 tails. Take a minute to pause the video and determine the theoretical probabilities of observing each of these events. To check yourself, find a coin, complete several trials of flipping the coin twice, and calculate your empirical probability for each of the events. Well, were you right? Did your empirical probabilities match your theoretical probabilities? Even though they probably didn't match exactly, they were likely fairly close. Next, we will repeat the process using dice. Before we collect data, what do you think the probability distribution will look like if I were to roll a die repeatedly? Sketch the theoretical distribution before we go on. As I'm rolling the dice, make sure to keep track of the data. I'm going to roll several dice at once to save a little bit of time. When I'm finished rolling the dice, sketch the empirical probability distribution, then go on to the discussion board and answer the questions.